Yesterday we have read this paragraph, but we haven't elaborated on it. Let's take a look briefly. This is what is undertaken in the meditation on unattractiveness, which turns back the tide of sensuality by pulling away its perceptual prop. The meditation takes one's own body as object, since for a neophyte is a beginner. For a neophyte to start off with the body of another, especially a member of the opposite sex, might fail to accomplish the desired result. Yeah, so if we are men, use our own body, a male body, as the starting point. If you are female, use your own female body as a starting point. Yeah, don't use the opposite sex. Yeah. Although it can work, but as a starting point for beginner, yeah, use our own body first. Using visualization as an aid, one mentally dissects the body into its components and investigates them one by one, bringing their repulsive nature to light. The text mentions 32 parts. All of these parts was read yesterday. I think it was by Esther, right? Yes, 32 parts. In some Pali chanting, you will see in the contemplation of body, they actually chant all these 32 parts. Starting from head hairs, body hairs, nails, yeah, the nails that you see. Okay, let's explore one by one. Head hairs, yeah. Like I mentioned, maybe some of you have heard, my hair wasn't always like this. You know, I used to like to style my hair. My hair was pretty long as well, so to speak. Not sure if Sai Kiang remembers. Do you remember when I had long hair? Probably not. Yeah, it's been too long. Yeah, and then I was so self-conscious about my hair. When wake up, there's something like my hair is always pops up, and then I have either to shower and then dry it up and then tidy it up, or I have to use comb. And then I have to, after shower, if I go out, I have to use wax, yeah, just to make sure I look good. Yeah, so the way you can contemplate this is when your hairs are not part of you. Maybe when it's part of you, you find, oh, a beautiful flowing black hair. I really like my hair after going to salon. You know? Oh, my hair is so nice. Then you can think of when your hair drops. Especially those who live with. There's ladies in the house. Well, you will see a lot of hairs all around the place. The floor, the bed. Yeah? When the hair is not on your head, on the floor, on the bed, you don't find it that attractive, do you? And when you shower, take a look at the drain. Wow, a lot of hairs. Yeah, so disgusting. Have to grab some tissue. For me, I grab some tissue, take it out of the drain, throw it in the dustbin. That's one. Same applies with body hairs. For ladies, probably applies to armpit hairs. I heard from my ex-girlfriend, she frequently plucked out her armpit hair. If not, she cannot wear sleeveless. That's what she told me. So I reveal a little bit of your secret. Nails. Some girls like to put on all the decoration on the nails. Yeah? Maybe it looks nice on your head. Yeah? But when you cut it off, when you cut your nail, Try to collect all the nails in one place and then you see, is it still attractive? Nails, teeth. This person has a beautiful smile. Then you go to the dentist. Have to pull out the wisdom tooth. Operation, surgery. And then you ask the dentist, dentist, please don't throw away my tooth. I want to keep it. It's so beautiful. How many of you do that? Maybe some of you did, yeah. I think there's like tooth fairy or something where you put your tooth under the table and then you get some kind of money as a compensation. That's what I heard. Any of you tried that? I think it's quite popular in the Western culture. Skin, yeah, skin is also, from what I heard from not my ex-girlfriend anymore, but my female friends. They usually like to buy all those beauty products. SK2. Oh. She told me it's called miracle water. Oh, when I heard it, I was like, oh wow. How miraculous can it be? Can it cure cancer, skin cancer or something? And when I heard the price, I was surprised. $100+ for this bottle this small. It's like, oh wow. I can go to buffet and still have a change. Yeah, skin, that's one. Well, skin maybe when it's part of your body, it still looks okay, still looks beautiful. But sometimes, there's a dead skin and then you rub it off. Take a look at put it on the table and then see, oh, a lot of flakes. I want to keep the flakes so beautiful, like a snowflakes. People don't usually do that. Flesh, sinews, bones, marrows. This one, we started to explore more of the organs of the inside of the body, of what is not visible. But you can still do the contemplation by searching the images online. Marrow, kidneys, we will see later, heart, liver, diaphragm, spleen, lungs, large and small intestines, stomach contents, excrement, brain, bile, phlegm, pus or pus, blood, sweat, fat, tears, grease, snot, spittle, synovial fluid. Do you guys know what is synovial fluid? The fluid that you have on your joints, I think. Urine. Yeah, I think you get the idea. I will not explore all 32 parts. The repulsiveness of the parts implies the same for the whole. The body seen close up is truly unattractive. Its beautiful appearance, a mirage. A mirage is like optical illusion. But the aim of this meditation must not be misapprehended, must not be misunderstood. The aim is not to produce aversion and disgust, but detachment, to extinguish the fire of lust by removing its fuel. Yesterday, I promised I'd like to show you a clip. So let's take a look at that. Firstly, on the number 42, our past video, you can take a look here. Bhikkhu Bodhi shared the same thing. So if you want to look back, please refer to video number 42. I'll paste the link in the chat as well. But today, the one that I want to show is a clip from, I think Jolene will like this, a clip from Venerable Thubten Chodron. Let's. Yeah, some of you might have watched this before, but I think it's still a good one to rewatch. Let me go to theater mode. Stop share first. Share and share sound. I hope there's no ads. Let's play. Let me know the audio is okay with the thumbs up later because I will mute myself. Okay, I will start playing.
I have two questions here, which actually touched on two of the big topics that Venerable you mentioned earlier on. So the first one is, what can I do to lessen my infatuation on somebody? Infatuation on someone. So
you want to
clinging
lessen?
and
You
longing for
sure you
someone.
want to lessen your infatuation? Are you sure all the movies, all the songs on the radio are telling you to increase your infatuation? Aren't they? Aren't they, you know? Okay, so you want to lessen your infatuation. Think about that person when they're in a bad mood. Okay? You know, when you're just getting to know someone and you're dating them, you're doing lots of fun activities together. So doing fun activities, everybody's in a good mood. Yeah. Being married, you're not always doing fun activities. Okay? You're trying to earn enough money to pay the rent. You're trying to cook dinner. You're trying to do the laundry. And then you have some screaming kids to take care of. Okay? So marriage is not about doing fun things together. Once in a while, maybe, but you have to be able to cooperate, you know, to be married. You have to be able to cooperate. If you can't cooperate, your marriage is going to be so unhappy, okay, for everybody involved. So, you know, if you have a lot of infatuation for somebody, they're so good looking, they're so much fun, think of what they're like when they're in a bad mood. Because when you're married to someone, they're not always going to be in a good mood. Are you always going to be in a good mood? No. So why do you expect them to always be in a good mood? Yeah? So we have to learn how to come out of our bad moods if we want the marriage to be happy. And we have to learn how to have patience with our spouses, your spouses. I don't have one. Sure. You have to learn how to generate patience for your spouses if you want to have a happy marriage. Okay? So, you know, remember what they're like when they're in a bad mood, when they don't agree with you. Okay? Also, if part of your infatuation is with their body, think of what their body is actually composed of. Okay? Buddha taught about this in the 4 establishments of mindfulness. You ever done the mindfulness of the body? Yeah? You do that. You meditate on your own body, on the body of the people you're attracted to. Yeah? You mentally dissect their body. There are the eyeballs. There are the teeth. There's a pile of skin. Yeah? Their kidneys. Oh, those kidneys are really good looking. Yeah. Yeah. The stomach, that's not bad either. Yeah. Their intestines. Oh, those intestines. Have you ever seen something more lovely than their intestines? I want to embrace them. Are you sure? Look at what the body really is. Yeah, that helps a lot with sexual infatuation. That's why most lay people don't do that meditation. Because you don't really want to. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, that was the clip that I prepared. Some of you that watched, join me in the watch together might recall this part. Yes. And Julian, I think you was there live in the talk, was you? Were you? Yeah, you was. Because at the end of the talk, I heard your name was mentioned. Okay, that's all I have for today. Anything you would like to comment on? How do you like the clip?
Can I share a personal experience?
Yes.
That was in the very early days when I started, not so early lah, but some earlier than now, when I started to learn meditation. And we were studying under the Zen tradition. And of course, we spend, one of the biggest thing about the Zen tradition is we have to spend a lot of time meditating. And at that time, I still really didn't understand about what wisdom and all that. It's still in a very early stage of learning meditation. And there was one experience I had. It kind of lead me to something, but at that time I was too early to understand what it was about. I think if now I could have experienced that, I would have really gone a very different direction. So I think from that experience, I also learned that meditation needs to be coupled with wisdom from that experience. Yeah. So what happened that time was we have to meditate more on the 4 elements of the body. I'm not sure. I think later on that will be covered as well, right? So one part of it is about meditating on dirty fluid from our nose into our, through our pipes and then down the liquid, where it goes out from your body. So I was meditating more on the black, something that I want to purify. So I was purifying myself, all the unvirtuous and all that. So it came into a very, I don't know what happened, but in a very tense. I was feeling quite tense about what I saw in myself in that state of mind. Because seriously, because we have to sit a bit longer hours. I think that time is really about 1 hour. We're sitting for an hour already. And then I started to freeze. The freezing part was very funny. It was like, I cannot talk. I couldn't open my mouth anymore. But I was totally aware of everybody around me. I was totally aware. I can hear very clearly the people around me walking. I can hear some people like moving around. I can hear someone, Sifu, saying something, and then I was trying to move my hands. I cannot move it anymore. It was in a very a state that I could not move my body. I cannot move my feet. I couldn't move my hands. Seriously, at that point, I couldn't even move my eyes. And then it was a very frightening state for me at that time, because I said, oh, shucks, how am I going to get out of this? I'm stuck here. I'm stuck. I cannot move my eyes. Really, I cannot even, I want to call somebody to help me. Actually, there was no sound. But inside me, I was saying, help me, help me. But no sound came out. So it was a very frightening state at that time. Okay. And, but after a while, that frightening mood went into a very, how should I put it, so blissful that you just want to stay there. But it's also frightening because I was kind of attached to that bliss. Quite attached. It's like, wow, something like that. The effect I got was, wow. It's like you're in a holiday in a beach, like you enjoy it so much that you don't get out from your holiday, something like that. It was quite frightening. They said, oh, shucks, what have I? No, I've been in a very frightening, then to a very, I don't know how to call it, it's like so like attached to this bit. Also I cannot always like that. Also wrongly. So I was very confused in this state of meditation. And then I quickly tell myself, I need to do something about it. No one can help me now because I cannot shout. Nobody can hear me. And I cannot move. I'm stuck here. I'm really stuck here. Yeah. So then I try and get out of it. First of all, then I kind of rewind myself and tell myself, okay, this dirty liquid that's in me, it's just part of me. Please accept it. Please accept it. This is you. This is good or dirty or not dirty. It's you. So I kind of like I become more relaxed. I think the mood become more relaxed. And I was like able to like relax. I keep telling me that message, keep saying that that's you, accept you. Keep saying for a while. I cannot even remember how long. But finally, the first thing that moves was my hand. And then slowly, okay, then I could move my eyes. Then slowly the mouth. So then I couldn't explain that experience, but I think if I have what I know today, I would be able to understand what happened to me and able to meditate myself through in a more less frightening, more better way to guide myself. So I think meditation really needs a little bit of knowledge as well while we're meditating. And we don't know what state we'll get into. And then what it means but the experience was of course very, until today, I remember every state of it, seriously, until today, because it's so clear. It was so clear what was happening at that time. But I also think that back then, I really do not know Buddhism yet. I went straight to, go for it, but I think we need to really couple like what Venerable Bhikkhu Bodhi did, is also entering it with knowledge, understanding what are we doing, why are we doing what we're doing, training our mind. Yeah, and then the whole experience, I think, will be a lot more meaningful. Yeah, so that is a little bit of a sharing. Yeah.
Thanks a lot for sharing. Interesting experience that you had. So were you able to get the same state any time afterwards, like at any point in the future?
Yeah, so it was a retreat, right? So we have to go back there. It was quite frightening after that. So that day, I went out home very tired. I was very tired that day after this experience. Seriously, I felt tired after getting out of it. I was very worried whether I should go back to that retreat, frankly, after that, because I was thinking to myself, I'm not ready for this. I went into it with a shocking experience. And in my mind, no matter how much bliss I was seeking for, I'm not ready for this experience. So it triggered me that I need to learn more about this Dharma, this Dharma first. It triggers me that I need to understand my mind better. It triggers me that more, that what I do not know and what I'm short of, actually. But then I decided that, because I was worried that if I'm stuck there again, it was quite frightening. It's like I'm dead, and like dead already, like somebody like 你要死了, then 你叫人家叫人没有应, like 叫不出, it's like it's a dead body there. 真的动不了, 真的喊不了, 真的喊. It's really like dead. I really felt dead. So 我在想, I don't want to be in that state anymore. It's so frightening. So 我有那个阴影, a little bit. Yeah. So then, but I talked to like a Dharma friend, and like when I call her and said, hey, should I go back? Should I not go back? What should I do? And then she said to me, okay, this is your experience. Why don't you come back and see what you experienced the next day? So this time round, I was more aware that I don't get myself into too tense don't be too tense, because it should be, meditation should be just awareness, and don't push myself too much into a very extreme state. So I was able, this second round and third day, fourth day, I was able to like know, oh, when that state I'm getting into, I'm more aware now. I pull myself back more. So I think also then that I didn't understand what I went through, but I was able to, second one and third one, I was able to pull myself more. And I think, yeah, same, I could, we sat for long hours. I still could sit for long hours without that whole tense and all that experience. So I think it is better, much better. And I was less fearful. It was at a different mind on the second day. But the second day, I felt that my concentration was easily a little bit more distracted. When I pull myself back all the time, I was like, my mind kind of like likes to be triggered on. I was like, I'm too, what should I put it? I'm too much wanting to pull it back. I think until that I'm not doing what the mind should let it do a little bit because of the experience. So I think that also affect my meditation method after that. So now I'm trying to like let that experience be a positive one rather than be a negative one. So it's like trying to change that mindset. So after that, it does affect me every time I meditate, actually. It kind of reminded me, I was like always, pulling myself back.
Okay. Yeah, thanks for sharing your experience. Well, the fact that you're here today means you managed to get out of the state. Not sure if it's a good thing or a bad thing. If you're still in that state, maybe you have achieved.
And Marcel, I know it is definitely not that state because there was an attachment.
Okay.
A very clear attachment, I know. Cannot be, it's wrong. It's definitely Salah one.
Okay.
I never think that way because I can see my attachment so clear to me. I was so attached to that bliss. Cannot be attached to that. It's like attached to the me and you eating, so it cannot be. So I'm totally out. It's not that totally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for clarifying. That's an interesting experience to hear. Does any of you have similar experience? Not, I have not experienced that kind of fear. But if I have, I'll let you know, Jolene. If I do in the future. Okay. How about others? Anything to add? Just curious, was the video played smoothly? Can you see clearly everything? Okay, that's good. Okay, anything more to add? Anyone? Let's take a look.
Marcel, can I clarify something?
Yes.
Because I went back to look at some of your videos you shared with us, although I didn't attend some of them. I want to clarify on the Abhidhamma because I wasn't there when you were saying about the Theravada Abhidhamma and 52 and the 51. So I want to clarify, yes, they are all mental states that described by Sai Kiang is Abhidhamma 52. And that is in the Theravada tradition. And in the Savattrika, the Tibetan study, the four tenet system, I think if you've been taught by Venerable Chuang Guan, he talked about this before. There was Savattrika, maybe Wei Si Lun, if some of you all understood Wei Si, Zhong Lun. Okay, so these are the different schools of Buddhism. So they are also Abhidhamma. They're also Abhidhamma, but 51 mental states. So they are all Abhidhamma.
Yes.
But the mental states are all Abhidhamma, is correct. And the reason why I think it's important to understand mental states, because when we study mindfulness, like later on, the mindfulness of phenomena, later on, right? There's mindfulness of body, mindfulness of feelings, mindfulness of phenomena. It is very encouraged for practitioners to understand what is the mental states. And so Abhidhamma is always brought in to study it together on this part as well in a lot of the tradition. So if some of you could go and just read out, and then at some stage have a chance to know more about Abhidhamma, I think it's very important. And it will be very helpful when we actually practice the Eightfold Path. Yeah. So if you don't mind, I share one screen.
Okay.
Just to share that information.
Okay, I let you.
Don't mind, just this part only. Again, this is not from me. This is from Venerable Chodron. Okay. I just want to clarify. This is all from Venerable Chodron. Yeah. Stravasti every Thursday, 2019 teachings. Yeah. April and June. So they talk about mind and mental factors. All right. And then the main mind could be a virtuous mind, could be an unvirtuous mind, accompanied by different mental factors. Right? It comes with it. It leads it. Yeah. So that's why Abhidhamma talks went deeper to understand our mind. And then it goes back. So I skip all that, but I can pass that to Marcel later on. And you could see Theravada, 52 mental states.
Okay.
And 7 universe that's shared by Salkyang is correct. And then what I shared, 51 mental states, Savattika school, which is common to the Zhonglun and the Wei-Si Lun. Savattika is Jingbu Lun, is one of the school as well. Talks about the 5 omniscient and all that. They are all correct in that sense. Yeah.
Okay, you can just send me the link and then I can share.
Yes.
If they
okay. All right. Thank you. That's all. Okay.
Okay. Thanks a lot for sharing. Sorry
Yes.
for going over time.
Sorry about that.
No, it's fine. Okay. Let's do a dedication. Share the screen. 愿消三障诸烦恼，愿得智慧真明了。普愿罪障悉消除，实是常行菩萨道。A metaphor. Till we meet again, may we be guided by the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. Have an unattractive day ahead. Thanks everyone for participating today, especially thanks to Jolene for sharing your experience. It's nice to hear from someone different other than me. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Brother, thank you, everybody.